Hi everyone, welcome back once again to my channel. And today I'm happy to present you this wonderful being, Maya, who is with us to share about her experience, how she became a vegan, and she is also have she does have her own startup organization, which is about sobriety and that helps people to come out of alcoholism. And she's also practicing raw vegan diet, and she practices mindfulness. So like this, she has plenty of things to from what we can learn from Maya. And she is only 23 years old, and see how many things she's doing. And she's originally from Germany, and currently I met her in the UK here in Liverpool during a vegan meetup. And yeah, it changed a whole lot of my perspective when I discussed with her. And she's also a model, yeah, which I have to mention this. And yeah, and she's having her wonderful vacation in Australia currently. Yeah, let's hear more from Maya, from her own words. So yeah, Maya, this is the small thing which I know about you, and I just introduced you and my own understanding. So there are a lot to understand about yourself from your own words. If you can tell about you, it would be so lovely.
Yeah, of course. So, hello, I'm Maya. I decided to become sober 3 years ago now, and I started my business about half a year ago. I specialize specifically in helping spiritual women just discover their path to sobriety. A lot of women just feel like they're stuck in like the cycle of like anger, sadness, guilt, shame, always after binge drinking. So it's just about removing yourself from that energy and just tapping into your most feminine, powerful self. And I have been vegan for 5 years now, and I love it so much. So yeah,
Oh,
that's a little something about me.
that's all about that describes you, isn't it? When you say vegan, that's the end. From that we can understand how compassionate you are. From that we can understand how lovable you are. And this is what all about being a human being, isn't it? Being compassionate and being lovable. Um, so after hearing you about this sobriety, because for me it knew the term, as I said already, but quite curious to know that you want to work with the women who are into spirituality. You said.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um. So how about this thing came into your mind? Why specifically the women who are into spirituality? Why not, for example, the normal women who got addicted to drugs and alcohol?
Mhm. So I do feel like there's kind of two different routes you can go down. Actually, probably many different routes, but two like major routes are either you do the 12 steps program, you go to like a sober living house and or like rehab or something like that. You work your way through the steps. Works for many people, very valid. And then there's also a spiritual route, and I do have a very close connection to God, the universe, everything. So I do feel more aligned with just teaching other women to just really tap into meditation, mindfulness. Um, if you pray, pray just different spiritual practices like that, because I do find it so much easier that when you feel both connected to yourself and also to your God, your source, higher power, then it just is so much easier to quit as well because you know, first of all, you're never in this alone. There's always someone around you. And also, once you just really start to connect deeper to yourself, it's like you start to build up so much self-love for yourself where you're like, I don't even want to put alcohol into my body anymore. So, yeah, I like that route.
Wow, it is literally eye-opening, Maya. So, So it is enlightening, the word what you said. So when we connect with ourselves, we connect with everything around us. And as you said, we are always getting the guidance. We are never left alone. And
Mm,
I understand this point of view why you are more focused about the people those who are into spirituality, as you can tap in quickly and you make them understand quickly as how by just simply sharing your experience. That's very interesting. And these days, I'm quite curious to understand about this feminine energy and masculine energy. As you said, this term, feminine energy, I would like to understand quite more about that in depth. As you know, like being a human being, we got both the things. It doesn't
mm-hmm.
mean that because I am a male, I have masculine, or if you are female, you have more feminine. It does it maybe mean that we have to we have to balance this both energy, if I'm not wrong. So if you can clarify me a bit in that, it
Yeah,
would
sure.
be.
So looking at it more kind of like the difference between men and women, like yes, we both have sometimes like I'm more in my masculine energy whenever I'm like pumping it at the gym and like lifting heavy weights and stuff, like me being like more in like a masculine energy. Um, and there is sort of like some things that if you even like look it up on Google or just like if you are interested in more like just delving deeper into this topic, masculine energy is usually put under being a protector and provider, kind of like the leader of the pack. And feminine energy is like very vulnerable, nurturing, kind of like how you would see your mother, you know? It's always that very like nurturing energy, this like soft energy. So with and it doesn't necessarily mean like how you dress or something. Like you can be a feminine woman that always wants to wear all black or have like lots of tattoos and piercings and stuff. So it's not really so much about how you look, it's more just the energy that you give. So with bringing out more of your feminine energy, it's just tapping more into that like vulnerable, nurturing side of you. Women as well usually love to chat for hours. This is why, you know, in like bro groups, it's always like, you know, like, hey bro, like let's talk about this. And then it's like over after a while. But with women, they love going into every single detail of what I was wearing and what time exactly I arrived. And it's just like so much detail that women love to go into because women by nature are very good at connection and connecting people as well. So those are just some of the traits that you have when you're in your feminine energy.
It's yeah. So now I understand that detailing or the qualities of feminine and so if women wants to speak quite a lot, how about the listener? Could, the listening quality is also a quality I would imagine it should be a feminine energy, masculine. When feminine energy is like going to speak, how about this masculine energy? Is it something that it has to develop its listening quality? Oh, not sure. What?
You were breaking up a bit, so I didn't hear that question. Could you repeat it?
Oh, yeah. So as you said, this feminine quality, most of the time it's like going more in detail, analyzing, and not like easy giving, and love to chat, love to speak quite a lot. And how about the listening quality? Is it also a feminine quality or a masculine one? Is there?
I think it can be both. It doesn't necessarily have to be like one or the other.
Mm,
With Um, I think it is beneficial in both because everyone wants to be listened to. So
Got it.
if you are like in a relationship, then you want your partner to listen to you and you also want to listen to them. So I think that's one of those qualities where it's just for both.
Understood. So, if I understand properly, maintain we have to maintain our masculinity and femininity by all these qualities, whatever you said. For example, being a protector a bit, not too much of anything, and being a nurture if you are feminine, and being a bit vulnerable and not too vulnerable, being a bit dominating but not too dominating, uh, being a leader, being a bit submissive but not too much submissive. So fair and if I understand, we have to have a little bit of everything.
Mhm. So I don't think there's like a certain type of rule book that you have to follow and like starting to think, oh, like if I do this, am I not like being feminine enough? That's like not what this is at all. It's just if you do feel like you're a little bit out of touch with your energy, then just tapping more into like your feminine energy as um as a woman, it just really helps with, connecting to your nurturing side, your loving, vulnerable side. And it's really good to just tap into your emotions as well, because sometimes we can let emotions control us as well. So once we just delve deeper and really understand our emotions, it just helps us make wiser decisions as well.
Understood. So connecting with ourselves is the basic. So it's not like we have to put a rule. Okay, am I in this quality? Am I good? Am I
No,
getting so
nothing
much?
like that at all. Like
And
you can of course get like very like men that are just more in their feminine energy and also women that are just more in their masculine energy. So yeah, th this is like, and we're all like so different as well. We're all so unique, so it's not something that you like have to do this and that. So it's more, yeah, for those women who are just feeling really out of touch. Like, for example, whenever I was still drinking, I definitely felt like I was more in like a masculine energy because I was constantly hanging around men and their masculine energy. I was always like drinking whiskey straight and like having my cigarette or cigar. And I always joked like I was like one of the guys, like I was like such a gentleman with like my cigar and my whiskey. And then always wearing like really like baggy black hoodies and like my cap and stuff because I just like I was like one of the bros. So that was just like me being more in my masculine energy. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's not like too much of a focus really. It's just if someone is feeling out of touch with their own energy and they just want to become more, nurturing and vulnerable and stuff like that as a woman, then doing certain techniques can help with that.
understand. So yeah, so if it is the case, I would imagine the technique that you may suggest them is to do a bit of mindfulness, being with themselves, and practicing meditation, becoming more intuitive. Um, what would be the techniques that you would ask people to people, for example, the women, those who are spiritual, those who want to come out of this alcoholism? Give us an idea, like how would you, what are the tools?
So I do personalize it for everyone because everyone is so different. So it's not one of those like one size fits all. With me personally, what helped is, especially now, like being in Australia and having really hot weather, what makes me just feel a little bit more in my feminine energy is wearing lots of like flowery dresses and just like doing my hair nice, really like focusing on skincare, just like all of that, like really having like a routine. But what works for me could be like something that doesn't work at all for someone else. So it can either be just is something maybe that you want to change about the way you dress. Um, Other things can just be, I don't know, if you're in a relationship or something, just exploring your more feminine energy, sitting with your partner, exploring your feelings. So yeah, it is something that I do like personalize to each person because everyone is so different. So it's one of those where it's like general advice is a little bit hard to give, but anything to do with like even reading self-help books, and like meditation, things like that is always going to be beneficial for everyone.
Wow, yeah, such a wonderful being you are, Maya. You are not like kind of generalizing people, but you are touching everyone individually. I like it a lot, and hope plenty of people would get benefited out of your wisdom. And saying that, so now I have an understanding regarding your, the work that you do in your non-alcoholism teaching, um, and regarding your transformation into a vegan, how it happened, and why did you become a vegan? You said it's been almost 5 years you are a vegan, and
Mhm.
how did this transformation happen?
So I was initially vegan whenever I was 15, but then after 9 months, I stopped because I just didn't do it for the right reasons. It was more like veganism was starting to become a trend, and a lot of people were saying it was like good for weight loss, and it was like the next biggest diet and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna hop on this trend. So then after 9 months, I just I didn't have that kind of conviction to keep going. I was just like, I'm drunk. I want to eat a ham sandwich. So I didn't really care. Um, and then, yeah, some time passed. I think whenever I was 18, I ended up going to Germany, and my sister had already been vegan for 1 year, and she just kept telling me about it and how great it was. And she was just like, why don't you just try it again? And I was a little bit hesitant because it is like a big switch at the start because you think about all the foods that you can't eat anymore. And I really loved my chocolates and my chicken and cheese and everything. But just being with her and living like temporarily for like 2 or 3 weeks in a vegan's place that only has vegan food that cooks amazing vegan dishes. It was like such an easy start. And then after those 3 weeks, I just found my own reasons as well. I just looked into it more, and agreed with the lifestyle this time. So I just decided to stick to it. And now it's so easy.
Yeah, veganism is quite easy, isn't it? And especially when you go in the developed countries like well,
Mhm.
European countries, that's very easy. And but you know what? It is it won't happen to anyone like all of a sudden. Even though plenty of things are happening around us, we don't even have this thinking of why should I have to even become a thought of that.
Mhm.
Of trying vegan. But you, even at the age of 15, you got the thought and you started doing practicing veganism, and then you were not regular, and then your sister helped you in the transformation. Um, by observing this, I would imagine that out of compassion you became a vegan because you when the first time when you became a vegan it was for a trend sake and not really understanding why we have to definitely become a vegan. But now if you are still a vegan, what is the factor that is driving you to be a vegan?
I think for me, it's just not really hard anymore. Like it's always hard at the start, but now it's just something like once you get into a routine of something, you don't even think twice about it. Like it's just like your mind goes into autopilot. When I'm in the supermarket, it's just natural to completely walk past the meat aisle because it's just like my mind doesn't register that as food anymore. So it's so easy. It's just like if you were to walk past the chicken. I don't think anyone like watching would walk past the chicken and just be like, food, and just like grab the chicken and like eat it. Because in their mind it's just like yeah, they could be thinking this will be food. I wouldn't mind having this after it's like been prepared. But no one would just like grab this chicken and like start biting its head off, because in their mind it's just not registered as food. So to be honest, for me, it's just like it's so second nature that I don't even have to think about it. And I think because it's so easy for me, that's what keeps me going, because it would be so much harder to try and get back into meat now if I wanted to. That would be like such a major switch. Um, so yeah, honestly, I'm just sticking to the easy path.
Well, I understand after hearing you. It is kind of a question which I put to a deer or a rabbit or or a herbivorous animal, asking him, "How come you are eating only carrots and grass?" Well, it's my being. It's how I am. It's how I am this
Yeah.
time. So yeah, it's all about habit, if I understand. It's all about habit, what we are clinging to, and when we took birth and what our parents they gave us, what following we started to follow. Is it something that is need or not? Is it something worth doing? So we tend to follow these habits blindly, and then with the help of our intuition or this intelligence which is helping us to evolve, I think we started putting questions, and then all of a sudden, after things are happening and changings are happening, so that now you no more feel like eating meat, and essentially, yeah, I would imagine that the root is to not to suffer any beings, make them to suffer. And so veganism, in the sense, it's not restricted or not limited only in terms of food, isn't it? Like, there are everything, the way of living. So how would you see the other aspects apart from food?
Could you repeat the question? Are there aspects except for
The
food,
other
did you say?
aspects, like, apart from food, because when we say
Mm-hmm.
about veganism, people quite understand, quite confused. They don't they immediately they look upon only food. But veganism
Mm-hmm.
is not only about food,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I do think this is like a tricky question, because I believe that because we live in a world that's just not a vegan world, it is very difficult to always be 100% vegan. So I think veganism is just all about trying to reduce suffering where you can. But it's one of those where, there's all of these like ethical questions that every vegan just has to decide for themselves. And I do think every vegan is so different as well, because personally, I don't choose to consume honey, but I've got a couple of vegan friends that do. Um, and with, for example, if you think about cars, a lot of the car seats are made out of leather. And if you're getting into your friend's car, you're not going to be like, no, I refuse to get in. I'm going to like walk to this place. I'll meet you there in like a week. So you would get into the car at that point. So I think um, vegans kind of get that bad rep because they're like sometimes trying to be so perfect and want everyone else to be so perfect as well, but sometimes it's just not possible. We just have to see what we can do in that situation. Like if you go out and there's like loads of meat on the menu and there's one vegan option, as a vegan, you would just go for that vegan option. If you live in a country or a place where hypothetically there's no vegan foods, then maybe like those people do have to eat fish or start learning how to farm or something. So I do think it's so different for every vegan, looking at the resources and where you live, and even like if someone gifts you like a pair of leather shoes or something, like some would decide to wear them because they don't want to throw it away or else it was like all for nothing. Others would decide to sell them or give them to someone else. So it is very um it's not like, I would say, super strict. Like you go into veganism and there's like this big guy at the top being like, okay, here's your list of rules. You have to follow this exactly and don't dare slack. So like a lot of like non-vegan see us as this very like military style, like you will go to hell if you don't like follow this exactly and like everyone's watching. So it's just very like I would say my approach has just become more relaxed. Like I know I will never eat animal products again. I always like stay away from that. If my friend pulls up in a car and it has leather seats, I would get in. But it's not like very I'm avoiding like everything and everyone, that would make us very isolated creatures in a non-vegan world.
Well, that is exactly a perspective of a real, how to say, a relaxed vegan, a sensible vegan, isn't it, Maya?
Yeah.
You are very clear. You are very clear, and this is how everyone have to be. And yeah, veganism is not about extremism, but as you said clearly, like however the way possible, wherever that we can eliminate the suffering as much as that we can, then we have to, as you said, how to say, we can never be 100% vegan, never.
Mm.
And so, so yeah, as you said, the leather seed, it's there, it's done. You can't do now anything now. So but then still you have to speak about veganism so that maybe in the future, in 10 years later or 20 years later, these vegan seed leathers are going to become another material. So yeah, and even the house which I live now, it has leather sofa. I can't like say I'm going to throw the sofa out. I have no other
Mhm.
choice. Yeah, but yeah, if it is possible, let's go. Let's say, for example, you go and you want to buy a belt, and it is made out of leather. You can simply select something else, like a belt which is made out of something else, and
Yeah.
shoe. Yeah, if or the woolen wears, for example, you can simply select a cotton. Yeah, wherever it is possible, you are clear, and yeah, that was a mature answer, Maya. And, so lovely, the transformation and the way how you live your life. It's an example for everyone. People outside, they see vegans as a military guy or a kind of strict, and they are kind of putting them in society separate. But no,
Mhm.
we are friends with everyone, and yeah. So yeah. Regarding veganism, very clear. Regarding feminism and um, what did you say? Priority, the one which helps people to come out of alcoholism.
The number one thing
N-
I always think with like drinking, like binge drinking, and like specifically talking about like binge drinking and stuff, um, it's always like coming down to either a lack of self-love or a lack of self-respect, and sometimes the two of them go hand in hand together. Um, because usually when we try to look for external things for happiness, like alcohol, drugs, even like food, like if people like binge eat and stuff, it's because they're trying to get either love, comfort, joy, or peace from something external. But we have to realize that we can never get it from something external because we already are love, peace, joy. That's just our natural being. And when we are on this earth, we start to just have daily experiences that kind of take us away from our natural being. Um, and then we notice, like, if you imagine yourself, you're like at 100% when you're born, like babies are pure love, they're pure joy. They, laugh when they pee in your face. So they're just like, they are so like in love with themselves, they babies like if you gave them a mirror, they would be like so completely of wonder because babies are 100% love and peace. Um, and just growing up and stuff and having all of these negative emotions like anger and jealousy, um, sadness, any negative emotions that aren't true to who you are, you just try to find them from external things so you can try and get back up to the 100%. So I think if anyone's trying to quit alcohol, is just, I would say, stop looking for external happiness and just realize it's within, and then do the techniques aligned with getting yourself back to that place of self-love.
Very clear. Yeah, as you pointed out in the beginning itself, it's all about self-love and all the techniques that helps us to understand that we are complete by ourselves. We are enough by ourselves, and we are love, we are joy, and we are peace. So the self help books, for example, and then meditation techniques, mindful techniques, and yeah, feminism energy. Yeah, I would imagine. And how about this raw food technique, Maya? Raw,
Mm.
raw. Mm,
So I'm not fully raw. I do just try and include raw foods whenever I can. Just like in my day, for example, like a simple switch that I've recently tried to make was instead of having like two slices of toast with avocado for breakfast in the morning, I would just try like one slice of toast with avocado and then having like a big blueberry smoothie alongside with it. So just yeah, not also like before, whenever I was trying to be fully raw, because that's just like whenever I felt my best. But I just found it so hard. And I just kept like quitting because I just like found it so hard and also really expensive. So that's whenever I try to take the perfectionism out of it again and just see, okay, maybe I can't be 100% raw. Like, kudos to anyone that can do that because that is like seriously tough. And I do admire anyone that can be fully raw. But for me, it was just like, I really love having my avocado on toast. So yeah, I just like making some like simple switches or just like for lunch today, I just decided to have just fruit, like some berries and some like little oranges. But then later on, I'm gonna cook myself a meal. So yeah, just making little changes here and there. Because raw food does just make me feel so amazing. Because when you cook food, it does lose some of its nutritional value. Like in the steam, it's just like it goes out of the food. So it can still have nutrition, but it's just not as nutritious. But if you eat foods like fully raw and loads of fruit and vegetables, I just really feel the healing and my skin looks better. My acne disappears, my hair looks better. Um, I just feel like more comfortable within my body. So I do see the benefits, but I do find it hard fully sticking to it.
that was my second question after listening to your raw diet. How about the benefits? So you already said. Um, So yeah, even what you said is 100% right. I was trying to become a fruitarian, and it was it was not easy.
Yeah.
Like Yeah, like it is, you are limiting yourself, isn't it? At the end of the day, you got six tastes and stuff. Like you got sour, you got spice, that hot and salt and everything, but leaving everything and you focus only on sweet. We understand at the end of the day, sweet is about everything. Sweet is love, and so sweet is going to help our body and mind and soul. But but still, you are a human being, isn't it? That
Yeah,
yeah, that thing is still there. And yeah, even I
yeah.
couldn't go 100% vegetarian. Yeah.
It it is really hard, but I think it's like okay to do like as a cleanse if you really want to. Like for a month or for a week or something, you'll definitely feel the benefits. And even like if there's something you like quickly want to try and change, like for me, for example, anytime I get a breakout on my face, I would try and have lots of raw turmeric and raw ginger and lots of fruit because that just makes my skin like instantly reduce an inflammation. So that's just like little quick fixes I do as well. Just like if I do notice, okay, I've had like a lot of oily foods the past few days. I got a couple of spots. Now it's just turmeric, raw ginger, raw garlic, and lots of fruits. And then
Uh-huh. That's the
goes
thing.
away. Yeah.
I don't have to ask the benefit you had after eating ginger and stuff. It is visible. It is clear now. The way how you are. It's glowing. You are glowing. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
And very good, Maya. So you are a sensible vegan, sensible raw dietitian, and a sensible healer in the sense not like going and interfering with others people's life, but you are just guiding them and sharing the understanding that you have. So yeah, whatever you are doing, that is so inspiring. Um, Learned quite a lot from you, and if you have uh, some need, even me being a not, I was an alcoholic before, and I overcame uh, my alcoholism through meditation.
Mm,
As
that's
you
so
know,
good.
as you know, when we meditate, we become one with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that
That's really good.
feminine, exactly, that feminine energy, the nurturing, that understanding ourselves, being with ourselves, that helped me. And all of a sudden, the craving, especially, it disappeared. The craving to eat meat or the craving to drink alcohol, because
Mm-hmm.
whatever I do through alcohol, whatever I eat, I get through meat. It is there already, so I don't have
Mm-hmm.
the need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's my meditation technique, which how it helped me. Um, so yeah, I think yeah, we touched all the points, starting from what you do, alcoholism to non-alcoholism, non-vegetarianism to veganism, and yeah, the way of living life. Um, I think yeah, I'm happy now. Um, I think I would. I would not bother you anymore to stop having your wonderful vacation in Australia.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on as well. I do like as well, just very quickly what you said with like your journey, and just to kind of like reiterate as well that everyone's journey is so different. So what works for one person might not work for another. So some people can feel like really aligned with this whole like um spiritual like quitting alcohol through that way, but other people might just like not align with that at all, which is fine too. Like there's so many people that also claim that AA has done wonders for them. I've never gone through that, so I wouldn't know, but there's been so many testimonies as well. So, and even like for some people, they just like the thought of becoming fully vegan is so scary for them. So, other people just like have one vegan meal a week or just do like a vegan day, or what my dad does is like two vegan days a week. Um, so it's not always about like trying to become the most perfect. Even like with the gym, like if you want to start training, you don't have to go in and like instantly do 6 days a week. It's always just about not looking too far in the future and just like being more in the now and thinking, okay, what can I do right now? I've got different things in the fridge. I could make myself like a salad, and maybe instead of having like a big heavy meat meal for like all 3 meals, I'll just like have my salad and beans now, and then I'll have a little bit of meat for dinner. So yeah, it's trying to get rid of like the perfectionism and just seeing what you can do today to become a little bit better than you were yesterday.
Wow. You know what? I think you started reading the thoughts of the people. My question was to ask you, give us your last message, but you already conveyed your message.
We're
So,
on the same level.
that's fantastic, Maya. So the ultimate conclusion from our today's recap is be sensible, not be too extreme, and be compassionate not only to towards the animals but to all the people around you. They do their own effort, and everything happens in its own time. And yeah, just be, just fitness, and just love yourself, and find the love within you.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you
I would be
too.
happy if you come again and again and share and pour your wonderful wisdom.
Just
I'm sure
hit
you
me up
would.
anytime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Maya. Nice
You
speaking to you.
too.
Yeah, see you
You
soon.
too.